Recording.
Okay. Hi, my name's Wanda. I'm going to channel love energy. That means I allow energy from the universe to pass through me. It turns into vibration in my throat and turns into a message for you, or really a remembering. If you like the videos, press subscribe on YouTube. And I can do private channeling sessions on Zoom these days. And also we started a Thursday Zoom group. We'll see how that format works out. And now we're going to have a little debate or discussion with Ash here. He's our host. So I'm going to leave and you two will carry on. Okay. So you carry about a certain childlike energy, very curious. As you bring it forth in this energetic exchange, but it's important for you to know that you have access to this in all other relationships as well. You may carry yourself through very important, stressful, very adult-like discussions and problems with the same childlike curiosity. So this, you come to this exchange with this notion, but you don't always take it everywhere with you. So we wish to point out, just on a level, a personal level, that humans are able to be their highest selves, and your highest self is very childlike and curious about what's going on throughout their life. They don't have to say, I have to be childlike here, I have to be grown up here, I have to be mean here, I have to be nice here. It's not necessary. Of course, that is the way most humans divide themselves. So therefore, if you were to have a group of humans in a room that were from each different part of your life, they wouldn't recognize your behavior, because there are many who behave differently in different situations. And it has become a human idea that you must behave certain ways in certain situations, and you must react in certain ways to problems or discussions with others. Mm-hmm. So just a heads up for you and for all others, you may take your highest self with you everywhere you go, because then it sets an example to the others. If you bring your higher self into a group that's or a discussion that's very stressful and emotions are high, and you bring this childlike curiosity and say, well, I wonder what would happen if we had a pack of bubble gum and passed it around the room. Just something easy like this. All of a sudden, the energy change. So then you and the others like you become leaders. You're able to change energy. You're able to break barriers where they are often, humans often come up against one another like this. And all they need is a moment of laughter or something light. And all of a sudden they forget, oh yes, we forgot. We may be childlike any moment. We don't have to be uptight adults if we don't choose to be. So it's important for you to remember this. We thought we would bring this up since you have brought that sort of attitude here now.
Very good. I would think that from what you're saying, in certain situations, you'd be deemed as being what we call flippant, where if you're making light of something that could be something serious.
Yes.
A funeral might be a good example of that, where somebody has passed and it tends to be a rather somber thing. Sometimes humor can help bring some levity to the situation too. It has to be very appropriate to the.
But there are also certain cultures that understand that this is a great joyful occasion, time for laughter, dancing, and great music. You see? So it depends what humans you surround yourself with and the rules that they have set up for such a thing as a funeral.
Okay.
So sometimes they're somber, sometimes they're joyful, sometimes they're musical. All different things happen at these events. So it depends what group what society you've landed in, what group you're spending time with there. But of course, you may still, because you also have lived in the world of mankind long enough, you are still able to take this joyful curiosity, be respectful, and yet say something light, say something that's uplifting. You're still able to do this during these somber situations. Just takes a little more skill. But you and many other like you are skilled at this because you've lived within humans and moved amongst them.
Very good. And bringing that sort of, I just look at it as like that curious, enthusiastic curiosity that I enjoy this, having these discussions. Does that create any stronger connection to your own higher self in
Yes.
terms of allowing information to flow through in a more easily to you?
Very much so. For as you show up with a childlike attitude, when you are connecting to the universe of love, or you're asking for help outside of you, and you say something humorous like, "Hey, thanks for leaving me all alone with the garbage." Say something funny like that if you like. The universe will respond in more humor towards you. So if you're childlike to the universe is childlike to you. And then you will be walking somewhere and a little red ball will suddenly roll across the sidewalk out of nowhere. So as you play with the universe plays with you. When you're uptight, the universe, you can't really feel what's going on with the universe, so it doesn't matter. But as this childlike curiosity, you are able to hear more, see more unusual things. For instance, childlike curiosity moves slowly through the world. So you have one thing in front of you, and you look at it, and you say, how does this work? What's around it? You don't rush through and rush by everything that's happening. So that's the other thing about curiosity. It slows you down. You examine life. You examine something unknown to you a little longer than others will. So it slows you down. And as you slow down, of course, you may see more and hear more. That is from the universe. Well, all the majestic, beautiful, natural things that happen on your earth with no effort on your part at all are from the great heavens. They're from the great Mother Earth. They have nothing to do with you. So as you are slow and easy, you get to see these gifts that are being offered to you. They are gifts for humankind to enhance your world, to give you something amusing, something uplifting to be around. So these things also, this childlike curiosity applies here as well, not just in this conversation. This conversation has a high amount of energy, but you, when you're alone, may maintain this curiosity also by your connection with, as we have said, things and the universe of love.
All right. So how is it that some people, they can have a very positive outlook on things, but it just seems that circumstances, like there's a black storm cloud over their head and everything just seems to go wrong for them, even though they are approaching things with a positive attitude and trying to make the best of things. I've seen situations where there seems to be a disconnect between the energy and the attitude that people are putting out and what seems to happen to them.
Yes, there is absolutely no connection between your attitude and the events that happen in your life. Now, you are suggesting, therefore, that if you're happy all of the time, you're going to have easy, carefree life, la, 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 and just step out when you're finished. So there's really no connection there. For each life of a human unfolds moment by moment, day by day, depending on who they bump into, what events occur around them, depends where they show up, and who else is in different alignments, and who else are causing events to happen. It's much like a domino sort of effect. You don't know what you're going to stumble into. Now, if two humans are coming on a crash course and you decide, or you just happen to be there accidentally, you're going to have some chaos because you're following along your footsteps and you came across chaos. So you're in the middle of it. So it doesn't matter if you're happy and carefree in that instance. You will come across other events that others have created, or natural events. Generally, though, you won't create too many negative events yourself. So you've got lesser negative events. So if you're smiling at people, they're not going to hit you over the head with a piece of wood. But if you're angry and you're going around making faces at humans, they're going to hit you over the head with the wood. So there are less events, but yet you can't control all events because they are random, depending on where your trajectory finds you and where the others are all coming. Do you know what we mean?
Yeah, I think so. I think
That's
so.
explained, yes.
Understand that.
So positive attitude does not mean you have a positive life, but you will have less events that you cause, and also you'll get more quickly out of them. So after the whatever event you get into, you will be the one first to get out of it. Oh, that was just terrible. I'm going to turn, and now I'm going to go look consciously for something else that's positive. So you will have the negative events and the black cloud, you called it, but you'll quickly get out of it, and you won't get more than your fair share of them because you're not attracting it. You're not inducing anger or bad reactions from others.
Okay, so that's the connection I was making when you said, if you're earlier, if you're feeling, childlike and being curious, then the universe might give you a red ball. So I was making the connection there that the energy that you're putting out and your attitude to how you approach life is going to be reflected somewhat in the reality that you experience.
Yes, at sometimes. Now, with this ball event, because you're happy and smiling and in a positive space, you'll pick it up, you'll play with it. If you're angry, you'll smash it. You'll throw it into the street or throw it over the gutter. You see? So it depends what attitude you are in. If you're able to receive gifts, see them as gifts, how you perceive the world does unfold by your attitude. So happy people look like their lives can be easy because they come up to the same negative event and get out of it quickly and look somewhere else where there's something good happening. Where someone who's in a bad mood, angry or sad, gets into it and stays in it, loves it, wants to, oh, it's terrible, it's the worst thing ever, I'm going to stay here for a very long time because it's the terrible thing. And it could be the same event where the happy person got out quickly and looked. The sad and negative person stays and stays and stays and stays and will never, ever, it doesn't get up for a long time because there's certain attraction to the same energy. So when you're negative and angry, you'll find some negative, angry events and you'll stay in them because they match your energy and you like to be matched. So you'll stay put, you'll stay there for a long time. So in this way, the happy humans look like things are easier for them, but it's their attitude about the same event.
Okay. And how does luck play into that equation? Is luck purely a random occurrence of something, or is luck, a certain amount of it, a component of these intersection of the trajectories you're talking about?
Yes, definitely that. But this word is very vague. So what one person would say luck, another person would say disaster or something great, something, a gift from the heavens. So it depends, again, how the person sees it. So the happy person would say, I'm very lucky. I'm full of great gratitude. My life is graceful. Where the negative person would say, oh, just my luck. I would get hit over the head with the 2x4 and you didn't. Just my luck. So this luck word has been misused, as many human words have. But your meaning of it is, can you create your own easy life that looks like it's lucky, and the next thing unfolds and the next thing happens, and then this and this and this, and all of a sudden you're having a wonderful experience there. So this needs a little further explanation. There's really not, this word has been used inappropriately, but we will tell you what it is you're getting at. You're wondering whether you can get in a stream of consciousness where you automatically follow the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, and they're all good. That that was lovely, and I'll stay in this flow, and another lovely thing, and another lovely thing. So what in this idea where you stay in the flow, where it feels natural for you to be, and you are unable to resist what is the next thing. For instance, you must cross this street. You cannot not cross it. You have such a strong pull towards it. So that would be your next easy thing. So you cross the street. What's over there? We don't know. Could be you're going to get some more direction to pick up a rock or something, or you're going to go up the street and go the other way. So you really don't know why you have this calling, but there is always a certain this happens to all humans. All humans can remember a time when they couldn't resist something, doing some behavior. Now, whether this could be several things. One is, are you capable of trusting to move forward? That's a very big thing. Humans are not great at trusting. So this would be, do I trust the notion that the universe is prodding me forward? Or do I trust that I'm curious and that's all right? Or am I going to randomly start following these notions I have in my head and see if there's a prize at the end? So there are many different reasons that humans have for trying to get in this flow. But when you're in it, you can't leave it easily. Once you get hooked on this feeling of, it's a certain excitement. Oh, you got to cross the street. Something like this. You just got to. There's something wondrous about it. It's the most wonderful thing you could imagine. And that feeling of wonder and joy causes you to go to the next and the next and the next. This you would call being in alignment. Now, when you cross the street and pick up the rock, the next thing might be not so happy. The next thing might be you're going to fall down off the side of the hill and break your ankle. That wasn't so good. Then someone's going to come and take you and care for you. And that is good. And then they're going to drop you. And that is bad. And then the ambulance will come. And that is good. You see how it goes? So it's not as if you stay in alignment, your life's going to be wondrous and beautiful. But you will feel fulfilled. You will feel as if you're on the right track, no matter what happens. And this is the feeling of fulfillment and connection that's truly being sought after. So this being in alignment has been misused to get goodies. Humans say, oh, I get into alignment, I'll get a goodie at the end. This is not the true nature of this alignment. This alignment is so you feel filled up. You feel as if you are connected to something larger, a larger purpose. And therefore you feel at ease, whether you're breaking your ankle or whether you're picking up a little ball. Because you know that it's all right. There's some part of you knows I was supposed to do that. So I feel all right with the results. So this is a larger picture than luck. Luck is very small. It's been misused and everything. So this is what you are actually referring to. Can I get into alignment and have an easy life? Humans don't have easy lives. You have made it so where you have to, there's not very much that's free. You have to work your way. You have to deal with humans who are angry. You have to come across sad events that are happening between humanity. So life is not easy. It's not designed to be, and it's not really ever going to be. But you can be settled in your place in it. You can be settled as you move forward easily through it, no matter what you see, what you encounter, or how you are treated. You may have a higher view of humanity. You don't have to get into the middle of the fights and the discussions of negative events. You may hold yourself in hope and joy that you're going to your next easy place, the next easy place. That is more confusing than you have asked for. But has it clarified for you what it is you are truly wondering about?
Yes, I think so. Because there's various books and people profess to be making the connection between your attitude and the vibrations that you put out and the outcomes that you attract to yourself. So
Yes.
to a certain degree, you've explained that, but they're not all good things. So I get what you're saying. It clarifies. I think that for me, it just comes down to, well, how do you view your life and the outcomes, even though there's good and bad?
Yes.
Can you still feel fulfilled with that? So
Yes, this is it.
yeah. So we can change topics then and maybe look at a couple other things. I was thinking last time we were talking about birth and and the the process for coming into this life and being attracted from the love of the mother and that. And I wondered maybe we can talk about the other end of that in terms of leaving this earth. Um,
Yes.
how do
Yes.
you, how is that decided that your time is up or that it's time to go? Like, how is that decision made that somebody is going to pass?
So of course that's not made outside of you. That is a series of events that you yourself decide. For the universe of love does not decide how long you stay on your earth. We're going to get that one clear first before we move forward. For there is no great entity in the sky controlling you and your life. None of you. So it's important to understand this. It's not you are in this time, you're out that time, and this will happen all throughout your life. For this, that truly would not be a human experience at all. This would be puppetry, we would call it.
Mm.
So let us be clear to begin with this, because this is the assumption of many humans, that you will go when you will leave the earth when the date and the time appointed to you when you came in arrives. So there are many who believe this. This is all preordained, how long you stay there. This is not the way of the universe of love. As you find your way through life, there are many times you have an option to leave. You have an option to leave right now. Anytime you wish, any of you may leave. Now, that certainly could not be predestined, for humans must have this, always this ability to leave if they feel it's important to do so. So that's one thing. You always have this choice. The other choices, of course, have got to do with when you have completed. There are certain humans that get this notion that they must succeed at a certain thing and they won't leave until they do it. You know, humans like this. There are many older ones who say, I'm not going till I do this thing. This other human needs my help and I'm going to give it and I'll decide when I'm finished here. So you see, you decide when you come, how long you stay. You decide if you leave. So what you are wondering about is these random illnesses that take you away, or you put yourself in the trajectory of a vehicle that's going to ruin your vehicle and you as well with it. These random events, and this is the part that most humans get very flustered about, because they would like it to be predictable. They would like to say, I'll decide when I leave. But there's always this randomness. And this is part of your humanity too. For you don't know what other humans are doing, what other decisions they're making. For instance, if two vehicles are going to crash and both are going to be eliminated, you don't know what had happened for the trajectory of the first car. Perhaps they were trying to do this. Perhaps they met so-and-so and they made them angry, and then that thing happened, and then they did this, and then they did this, and there they are behind the wheel. Now, that is, so you don't know any of the events for the other person or groups involved in this. What you do know sometimes is, what triggered me to go down that street I never drive down? Why? Am I following my instinct? Did I hear something say, don't go down that street right now, and follow it, or did I not follow it? So all throughout your life, there are nudges, there are voices that can be heard if you'd like to. If you'd like to hear them. There are often these voices, certainly, that say, don't go down that street, or go down that street. Things like this. Now, so there's a great amount of flexibility with the human life here. It's up to the other human. It's up to you to hear voices. It's up to you to decide when you have completed your task. It's up to you if you wish to remove yourself. So there's a great fluidity with your human life. And this is the way it must be. For as you have this great fluidity and you may do as you wish, right now you can do what you want, Go here, go there, talk to this person, don't talk to them, do whatever you want. All of these are choices that you're making. And each choice that you make, you have a certain amount of assistance coming behind you. Now, this is a slightly complicated part. For everyone thinks, if I am in danger, my non-physical support team will save me. If you wish them to, and if you hear them, they will. Now, this is great big news to you. But if you also choose not to hear anything and live your life of self-will, or whatever word you want to use for it, I make my own decisions, then you will come across these events more often because you're out of touch. You're out of, I'm not going to say alignment again, but you're out of touch. You don't have access to the words that are coming from non-physical, or nudges or smells. Oh, there are many different ways to get to you other than words, but often the words are the easiest for humans. So as you move through this life in this sort of delicate dance, we would say, some it's a delicate dance, some it's a rough stomping way of moving through the world, others you're waltzing, all kinds of different ways to move through the world. So it's up to each individual how they wish to be in, how they wish to get out, all of these things. So it can't really be, you can't really receive a solid answer. For the most important thing is that you have freedom of choice. So perhaps that's larger or more confused than you predicted or asked for, but that is the truth of the matter in an energetic level. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense. I'm just thinking about, cases. I get the part where, you could have the nudge to cross the street and then you break your ankle. So when say, well, why did my support team not stop me from crossing the street? Then I wouldn't have broken my ankle. So, I get that negative. I get that could be just as part of life unfolding. But then I think
one more thing with that. When you didn't hear them telling you not to cross the street, it's because you were supposed to meet the person that was going to wrap your leg up or something. You see, there could always be something higher, a higher purpose. Or perhaps that person was going to jump off the bridge, and now instead they're going to help you. They've got a new idea on life. You see, so you don't really know what's going on.
The mix with the other people, right? Well, I think about, what comes to mind is sort of 9/11, where they had people who, had a whole plan to attack the United States using airplanes, and it was very premeditated. They'd all spent a lot of time deciding that this is something that they wanted to do, and yet, interestingly, some, I think about randomness. A great number of entertainers, they were fly those flights back and forth, quite a significant number. What I would say is a non-random number of those people didn't take the planes on those days, and they avoided being killed. So in that case, I'd say that's wonderful that their support teams all redirected them to do something else. They didn't make it through traffic, whatever the case was. It wasn't simply their choice. It seemed to be that the events around them conspired so that they would not get on the plane, right? So that's wonderful that they were saved. And yet the people that were on the plane may have made their flight and had no idea that this was something that they shouldn't, that they would be killed. So I guess it comes down to, all right, if the universe can look that far forward and see this trajectory where this one individual is going, or this group of individuals is definitely going to crash this plane, or their intent is to kill themselves and everybody on board and wreak havoc, how much free will, or is it just pure random circumstance for the passengers that are involved in that are on that plane that then all died because they took the plane? How much of that was that free will, or is that premeditated in the sense that they energetically agreed to be on the flight and went along with it as a way of, I don't know, demonstrating love or demonstrating something else to the world.
It is not, again, a blanket statement, and all would be not included for the same reasons, but also the universe would never know the trajectory because humans change their mind every second. Every moment they change their mind. So truly, nothing was exactly 100% until the moment it happens. And that's with every event. It doesn't matter what event you're speaking of. So nothing can be exactly preordained. For instance, if you have plans for such and such a time and such a place, you don't know if it's going to be at all. You never know. None of you really know if anything is going to occur or not. And you particularly are aware of this now, that many things have been canceled that you could predict possibly as being available. We will put it that way.
Right.
So when you suggest that certain humans heard the word not to get on, or the universe saved them, you're sort of implying they're important. So we wish to clear that up. All humans are of the same value. If you're able to hear, if you wish to hear and you're able to hear nudges or information from the universe, then you will. If you're not able to and you have no interest in it, then you won't. So you do cut yourself out from a lot of information that's available. And this group of people that you are saying that there seems to be a high number that did not get on board. The universe wasn't saving them because they were important. They happened to be able to hear. And if they got a red light and a red light and a red light, they'll say, oh, forget it. Instead of go faster, we won't get the next one, go faster, which is self-will. So there's a certain surrendering to something higher than you. Now, you would say perhaps a higher cause, but really it's just something higher. You don't know if it's a cause or not, but you have a certain ability to surrender. Mm-hmm. So those perhaps that did not board this plane had surrendered to a certain idea or a nudge, a feeling, something within them that said, don't go. There's another red light, or whatever way it is. And it was different for all of them, but it just happens that you're speaking of a group that has greater access to universal information. It just happens that's the groups you're referring to, that they have a connection this way. So they are able to hear this. Now, of those on board, some don't want to hear from the universe. Some have heard from the universe. Get on the plane. This is it. You see? So it can't really be a blanket statement, whether you heard, didn't hear, whether you're safe or whether or not the event was actually going to occur, because you never know till the moment. So all of this that we're speaking of is a normal human life. Sometimes you listen, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want to surrender, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get to a higher good and you're able to see it. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's random. It's just random. A certain number of humans do a certain thing. Let's see, we need so many humans on this event. Let's just get you in here. And this is also this randomness that cannot be predicted. So you cannot predict when your life will end and what will happen to it. Exactly. That you can't predict what if external events will cause you to end your life, is what we mean. You are able to control your own life to end it if you wish. But if outside events take your life, these things you can't. You can't always. You can't know all of this. Again, we're getting back all the way around to this again, but this is the freedom of human life to experiment with things. Did I really hear that? Did I not hear that? All of this? So all of this is an experimenting with life. Should I get on? Should I follow my hunch? Should I push past it? Should I ignore it? All of these things you see are an average human life. You are recalling a certain bigger event, but really all of your lives are like this in small. You just don't know what you're going to come up against. And when you use this random, you could use this word random, you could use it in that way. You can't predict the trajectory that others are having or others are creating in their lives. And you can't control whether your life intersects with theirs unless you just stay in your place, lock the door and stay in there. And this causes another problem because humans love to be together. So they're always out looking for other humans. And you don't know who you're going to stumble up against. Someone happy, someone angry, someone that's just building a device that will take you all out. You don't know. And that's the beauty of human life. You don't know, but you show up anyway. You come in with hope that something good will happen, that you'll allow love to flow through you and others will have an experience with love. You just don't know what's happened. And that's the beauty of humans. You keep trying, you keep showing up, you keep hoping. Sometimes. And then there are some of you who don't give a lick and don't care and just do your thing and move through. There's those as well. But this is all part of the human experience.
Okay. So going back to the plane incident then, for those people that did go on board, would all of their support teams have all tried to divert them from that plane in some way, or would they just not be aware? Are you saying things are so, because you can't look forward and be pre-planned, that there's no awareness that this pending circumstance is going to occur that would end their life, and it might not be their choice to end their life at that point?
Yes.
So I'm viewing what you're saying that, well, your life could end just because, like you say, somebody else's trajectory interfered and you just happened to get caught up in it, but it was by no means your choice. And there was no way of forecasting on an energetic level that this was going to occur.
Yes. Now, when you speak of your non-physical support team, we love that you're using terminology for it. Not all humans are aware of it. Very few are. So the very few that the many that are not aware of it don't believe in them. So they will never be able to hear them. They don't wish to hear them. They don't want to know anything about it. So they certainly have no access to it unless there's some major catastrophe. And sometimes they will push through and they'll say, what was that? Or they'll see something. So most do not hear it and don't wish to. And that's the choice as well. You always have a choice. Do you want to know there might be something there? Do you want to possibly hear them or not? So these are all choices. So there are some also that felt it was important to get on the devices, the airplanes, for other reasons. There are so many humans involved in the situation you are bringing up that have affected so many others. So many other lives are affected by one human.
Right.
And especially a catastrophic group event, because more attention is drawn to it. And after this event, which perhaps you would volunteer for, perhaps afterwards, you would understand that people will come together in love and healing. So no matter what happens, negative events happen all the time. Every moment they're happening somewhere on your earth. After the event, humans, because of their very hopefulness, come together in a loving way. It draws humans together. Negative events draw beautiful humans together to heal together, to hope, to suffer together, to relive events together. And this is where the healing occurs. So if you yourself were asked to attend an event that would be catastrophic, but would cause great healing afterwards, perhaps you yourself would step forward. Now, we're not saying that they knew this. We're not saying that at all. But on a higher level, there are many humans that will eliminate themselves as a group so that others may heal from it and escalate de-escalate themselves and feel a certain amount of healing and loving and nurturing as they come together. This is difficult for humans to hear, but it's the truth of it. These disasters happen every moment. It's part of your way of being on your earth. The healing afterwards happens as well.
Yeah. I guess it depends on the circumstance of things. Like in the case of this situation, it predicated a war, so it wasn't necessarily a loving outcome that resulted from it. I think about like back we had World War II about 80 years ago now, and Jewish people were rounded up and put in internment camps and actually killed en masse, and children and everything have participated in that. So going back to the concept of luck, I would say, well, it might be luck that when the German soldiers went through a town looking for these people and they were hiding, that might be luck that they didn't get found. And certainly the ones that did get found would consider themselves incredibly unlucky and then have to go through this catastrophic experience of being exterminated in gas chambers and things like this.
So you are bringing up extreme examples
Yes.
of humans that are unkind to one another.
Yes. Well, to try and make the point, one could say, with luck, if you didn't win on a lottery card, that's luck versus it, lucky that you can find luck and randomness in anything. I'm just trying to think of quite extreme examples where you could say, geez, that was so significant and so many people were injured, or there was nothing loving I could see that came out of that. Like certainly not for many, many years, I guess you could say, as people healed from those injuries and those experiences, as they came together, there was some love shared, but certainly the violence that was inflicted on that group of people was nothing loving whatsoever about it that I could see.
Yes. So this is probably not what you wish to discuss with this. This is probably not how you wish to spend your time with this energy, reliving human ugliness, because it is going on right now. It's not in your house, but it's going on outside. So that is the nature of humanity.
Right. Okay. So going back to the choice to leave, then, just to explore that, I had another question about that. We've had situations, so we're going through a situation now where governments are putting together assisted dying legislation. So if somebody is terminally ill, particularly cases like ALS, as where it's terminal, you're not ever going to get better from it. You basically die a very slow and painful death. So people will choose to want to take their life quite consciously before their body gets to that deteriorated state. But our laws currently don't permit that. So, depending on the country. So this has been quite a topic of discussion. So it's the other side of it, where here is somebody that very consciously is seeing an impending issue that they have to deal with coming at them, and consciously wants to control their death when they're able to make those decisions rather than burden a family or having,
Yes.
being in a situation where they can't do anything about it. So it's a situation of, well, in one case, your energetic self might understand that it's wants to go and it's your time to leave, and you get a heart attack or something like that and you're gone. But the other case is you consciously want to leave and can't. So how is that?
There are many of you who are consciously wishing to leave. And are you thinking that every human being does not know a way to remove themselves from the earth? Now, that's really not something you can answer, but you choose not to answer because it is not in your belief system. But all humans have the ability to leave. Whether they, how will we put this in a way that you're able to accept it? All humans are able to leave.
So when you say leave, what they mean by suicide, or just they would just die?
Well, all of those are really the same thing. Your energetic body leaves and your human shell is left behind. There's really no difference in that way of thinking. It's the removal of your energetic self from your physical self. All humans have access to this. So what you are arguing about, or you're not really arguing, but you are trying to make a point that you must ask permission to leave by some authority that you have given your power over to. But truly, you are all able to leave if you wish.
Well, I certainly agree with that statement that everybody has the ability to climb to a tall peak or a building and jump off it, and you know you're going to not survive. So, or I don't know, drown themselves or whatever method that they wish to take their own life. So
Yes.
certainly the suicide option I can see is somebody overtly wanting to end their life.
Yes.
Somebody who is sick, like with ALS,
Yes.
they might not have, they might not physically be able, like they might be a quadriplegic. They can't move their limbs. So they have no ability to take their life. They're literally imprisoned in their body till their body ceases to work any longer. So they have to, the idea of this legislation is that with their permission, somebody else can assist them to make that transition. They're not trying to they can't jump off a bridge because they can't move their body.
What is it you are truly asking? Are you allowed to leave the earth if you wish to?
Well, I'm trying to understand this concept of your time to go, and how does somebody, if they decide they want to leave, like can consciously commit suicide, no question asked, and that's very clear to me. I guess I'm trying to understand the relationship between the logic of the energetic self and its interaction with the universe versus the person's conscious self. And I think they could be two quite separate things, or a separate, operating on a different level of understanding, let's say.
Yes, this is absolutely true. So you've gotten to it. So the energetic self is happy to leave any moment, really. It's happy to stay and have some fun and dance and all of that, and possibly follow in alignment, possibly get out, but all of this, very happy to stay, very happy to go. Let's go be with our brothers and we'll be together. So your energetic self really doesn't matter whether you stay or go. Now, you have a certain conscious self that your human body has tried to keep you alive. From the moment you came in, your ego and mind have been trying to keep you alive. Stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive. Because when your energetic self leaves, your ego and mind are finished. So they always are trying to keep you alive. That's all they've got. They've only got one lifetime and one human body to have the experience of it. So that's why your bodies are moving, that's why you're walking, and that's why you're thinking, because your mind and ego wish you to be alive. Your energetic self is good either way. Now, having said that, that's very big for you. And before you debate it on specific events, very precise, which you speak of very preciseness, we will speak in a more general term that all throughout humanity, humans have been able to leave when they wish to. All through humanity, before all of this business of assisted and all of this, humans have always been able to leave, but they don't want to. Mm-hmm. Many of them want, with the mind and the ego, they want to stay. They want to stay. Your energetic self doesn't matter. Your brain does. Your brain wishes to stay. Now, aside from that, there's also another notion involved here, which is if you are doing a certain spiritual path, and you have been directed to do something, and you have felt supported every step of the way with it, it might come to a completion before you're finished to leave. But also, with you leaving, before a project is completed, that might be perfect also, for there might be someone else to step in. So truly, there's no real holding you here other than your mind and ego. There's nothing for you, there's nothing holding you here energetically. Because energetically, you wish to fly. You wish to be with the stars. You wish to be in the clouds. You wish to be with your brothers and sisters in one. Truly, energetically, you're happy to leave, but also you're happy to stay.
Okay.
We will conclude this conversation.
Okay.
Is there one more thought that you have that's pressing upon you that is to be spoken for the majority of mankind?
Yeah, well, I keep getting this idea of when I did an elderly couple. I did a regression, and I had the energy body of a person who'd been recently deceased pass, and his wife was desperately missing this person. And when I asked the energy that had passed, this being asked them why they left at this time, they simply said, well, it was my time. And even though his wife was really struggling with the loss, he was confident that she could deal with the challenge, and did not, exhibit any concern, let's say, in the discussion. So it seemed, back to your point here, it seems like the person had decided to leave before his emotional commitments on the earth had been finished.
Yeah, well, of course, that's exactly, there are no emotional commitments. There are no jobs you have to complete. There are no ends that you have to meet. There's really none of this, because others step in, people adapt. Humans are very good at adapting, but we would like to point out this word that got you. It was my time. This is the term being used when they are done, when they are finished, not an actual date and time.
Okay.
It's the human being wishing to move on, or the energy is ready to go, whatever it is. So if you are thinking that's a precise, again, time written down somewhere where you are to leave, no matter if you leave your dinner uncooked, it is not that.
Okay. Now, that was the crux of my question is,
Yes.
that sounded rather specific, that there was something definitive there, that
Yes.
because I would think that if there was great love between two people, it would, I don't know, logically, I would say that both parties would carry on their lives till one of them decided to pass and the other would pass pretty much at the same time. So you wouldn't have the situation where, in elderly people, one is left behind and often without any supports, and yet the other one has passed.
This what you speak of. You often speak of unfairness in human life as if it's supposed to be fair. This is not the way it's devised. Life that is not a word at all to be used in your human language. When it's very fluid, very easy for you to come and go. It's not a place where you must stay until you get something completed. It's not at all. Your human world is not at all like that. It is easy. Come in, go out, experience this, listen, don't listen, be connected to humans, be disconnected and lonely. All of these things are human experience, and they make up a human life. So there's nothing about this that can be concluded as substantial and predictable. That is the opposite of human life. Human life is unpredictable, and you must understand that's what makes it beautiful. That's why you're involved in it. That's why they're all involved in it. because you don't know how it will be. You don't wish to be puppets. You didn't come to be on page 1 and then 2 and 3. This is not a human experience. Human experiences are random, and random things happen, and humans come and go, and you love and you hate, and you just don't know what's around the corner. That's the point of it. That's the joy. That's the fun of it. You don't know what's around the corner, and that keeps you involved in it. That's why you jumped into human body, because you wanted to see what would happen, see what you're going to come up against, see how it would be for you. That's the true human experience. Very unpredictable and quite unfair if you must use human words. So we must conclude our exchange.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Just do namaste.
Okay. Namaste.
Namaste. That's good.
Yeah, there you go. Death and Dying 101.
My God. Want to stop recording?